Hello everyone. I attended an interview at a company called Tech for Solutions, and the company location is New Delhi, and the interview date was January 21, 2026. So the first question they asked me, trait. So PHP does not support multiple inheritance directly because a class in PHP can inherit from only one parent class. This restriction avoids the complexities and ambiguities of diamond problem which can occur in the multiple inheritance scenario. So they asked me, can you write a code for the trait? So I said trait logger, public function log dollar message, echo log dollar message. Trait notifier, public function notify dollar message, echo notification dollar message. Now class user, use logger notifier, and public function create user dollar name, echo user dollar name created. This log created user dollar name, and this notify user dollar name has been added. Now you have to create one object dollar user equal to new user and dollar user create user alias. So the output will be the user alias created, log created user alias, and notification user alias has been added. Second question they asked me, you have an array 251759 and you have to reverse it. So first of all we will create an variable reversed equal to blank array. Now for I equal to count array minus 1, dollar I greater than equal to 0 and dollar I minus minus. Now dollar reversed equal to dollar array dollar I and then print r reverse. By using built-in function, how can you use dollar reversed equal to array underscore reverse and dollar array and then print r dollar reverse. Okay, and descending order without built-in function. So descending order without built-in function. So dollar array equal to 251759, dollar n equal to count dollar array. For dollar I equal to 0, I is less than n and I plus plus. Now dollar j equal to I plus 1, dollar I plus 1, dollar j is less than dollar n and dollar j plus plus. So if left number is smaller, then swap. If array dollar I is less than dollar array dollar j, then dollar temp equal to dollar array dollar I, dollar array dollar I equal to dollar array dollar j and dollar array dollar j equal to dollar temp and then print r dollar array. Method 2 for descending order, that means largest to smallest. So you have an array and directly you can use a function r short dollar array and then print r dollar array. Third question they asked me, INNODB in MySQL. Okay, so best for the application needing transaction data integrity and high concurrency. So key features of INNODB: supports transactions, reliable data handling, supports foreign key, relationships between tables, and use raw level locking, better performance when multiple users are accessing the data, and crash recovery to prevent data loss. Second, ISAM, indexed sequential access method, best for older system with simple read heavy applications. Key features: no transaction, less reliable for complex operations, no foreign keys, no relationship between tables, and table level locking, slower if multiple users are accessing data at a same time, and obsolete and not commonly used anymore. Third is heap, that is memory storage engine, best for temporary data fast storage for caching or intermediate operations. So key features are: in memory storage, extremely fast. Data disappears when servers restarts. No persistence, data is lost when the system shuts down. And ideal for the temporary data that doesn't need to be saved. MyISAM. So MyISAM is best for read heavy applications that don't require transactions. Key features: no transactions, no guarantee for data consistency. Table level locking, slower if many users access the table at once. Supports full text indexing, useful for searching text, and faster for read operations but ideal for concurrent writes. So the summary is: INNODB, best for application needing transactions and data safety. ISAM, old engine, no transaction or relationships, rarely used today. Heap, fast temporarily in memory storage for quick operations. And MyISAM, good for read heavy applications but lacks support for transactions. Question number 4. They asked me last second salary without limit. So I have to write a query for that. So without limit, select max salary from employee, where salary is less than select max salary from employee. And if we are using the limit, then select distinct salary from employees order by salary disk, limit 1 offset 1. Or select distinct salary from employee order by salary disk, limit 1, 1. Explanation: distinct salary ensures duplicate salaries are not counted multiple times. Order by salary disk sort salaries from highest to lowest, and limit 1, 1 skips the top one salary and gives the first one zero based index. Question number 5. Drop, delete and truncate in MySQL. So delete is SQL command used to remove one or more rows from a table based on a condition using the where clause. It can also be used to delete all rows without dropping the table. So delete from table name where condition. Truncate, that is definition no where clause. Truncate is a SQL command used to remove all rows from a table instantly and reset auto increment values while keeping the table structure enacted. It cannot delete specific rows and is faster than delete. Reset auto increment. So truncate table and table name. So this is the syntax. Now drop. Removes the entire table. Data plus structure both deleted. And the syntax is drop table employee. The sixth question they asked me, methods in APIs. So there are some methods. So like the get request method. A get request is one of the most commonly used HTTP methods used to retrieve data from a server via an API, that is application programming interface. When a client like Postman, a browser or a front-end application sends a GET request to an API endpoint, it asks the server to return specific resource or information such as user details, product list or settings. So GET requests are read-only operations and do not modify any data on the server. Second is a POST request. A POST request is used to send data to an API to create something new on the server. For example, you use POST to add a new user, submit a form or upload a file. Third is a PUT request. A PUT request is used to update existing data on the server. It usually replaces the entire resource with new data. Fourth, patch request. A patch request is used to partially update existing data on the server. Unlike PUT, it only changes the specific fields you send. Fifth, delete request. A delete request is used to remove data from the server. It deletes a specific resource like a user or a record permanently. So extra HTTP methods, full example. Head method. So the purpose of the head method, same as get but return only the headers, not body. So curl -i -x head and HTTP localhost 8000. So use cases, check if resource exists, check file size before downloading and monitoring APIs. Options, allowed method, curl -x options HTTP localhost :8000-i. Extra, connect example, mostly not used locally, curl -x connect HTTP localhost :8000. Use case, used in course pre-flight request. Browser checks permission before put. Third, connect method. Purpose, create a tunnel to the server used in the HTTP's proxy. So curl -x connect HTTP localhost :8000. So use case, VPNs, HTTP through proxy server. Fourth is a trace method. The purpose is echoes back the request of debugging. So curl -x trace HTTP localhost :8000-i. So use case, debugging request path often disabled due to security risk. The next question they asked me, how to secure an API. So we secure API using the authentication, authorization, HTTPS, input validation, rate limiting, and proper access control. So first point is use authentication to secure API. So authentication is who are you. So common methods are JWT token, OAuth 2, and API keys. So example, authorization bearer token. Only authenticated users can access API. Second, use authorization. What can you do? Even if user is logged in, they must have permission. Example, admin can delete, employee can only view, and role-based access control, that is RBAC. Third is always use HTTPS. Prevents data stealing, man in the middle attack. Without HTTPS, password and token can be intercepted. Fourth, input validation and sanitization. Never trust client input, protect from SQL injection, XSS and command injections. So the example, filter_var $email filter validate email. Filter validate email. The fifth one is the rate limiting, that is prevent abuse. Limit number of requests per user IP. For example, max 100 requests per minute. This is the most important things to secure API or method to secure API. This is the rate limiting, which prevent the abuse. So limit number of requests per user per IP. For example, max 100 requests per minute. Protect from DDoS, brute force attack. Sixth, user proper HTTP status code. Return correct responses like 401 unauthorized, 403 forbidden, 4212 many requests. Seventh, secure headers. Add headers like X content type options, no sniff, and X frame options deny. Eighth, logging and monitoring. Track suspicious activity, failed logins, too many requests, and unauthorized access. Tools, Elk Stack, CloudWatch. Ninth, avoid sensitive data exposure. So never return passwords, OTPs, internal server errors. Example, don't expose stack trace. 10th, use cron properly. Allows only the trusted domains. Access control, allow origin, HTTP your frontend.com. Perfect interview. If I want to make it perfect interview question, so to secure an API, I use HTTPS token-based authentications like JWT, role-based authorization, validates all inputs, apply rate limiting, log request, and restrict access with the secure headers and cores. So test secure API with command line. Okay. So without API key, it will fail. So curl-x post HTTP localhost 8000 secure API PHP secure API.php -h content type application /json -d name Chandra salary 12,000. So the response will be error invalid API key. Now with API key, curl-x post HTTP localhost 8000 secure API.php -h content type application JSON -h. Now X API key, and then you have to enter the API key like the 1234 secret key -d name Chandra salary 12,000. Now the output will be the message secure data received successfully, name Chandra and salary 12,000. So in core PHP, we secure APIs by validating API keys on JWT tokens in headers, enforcing HTTPS, sanitizing inputs, applying rate limiting, and returning proper HTTP status codes. Question number 7. Session and cookies. For non-logged in users, you can store data temporarily in cookies or in the local storage or the client side using cookies. Cookies allow you to store data on the user's browser which persists even after the browser is closed unless the cookies expire. So set a cookie. Set cookie user data temporarily value time plus 3600. That means cookies expire in 1 hour. Access the cookie. If set $cookie user data echo $cookies user data output temporarily value. Using local storage, that is client side JavaScript. Although not directly part of PHP, local storage is a common method for storing non-sensitive user data in the browser. So you can use a JavaScript to handle this. So store data in the local storage dot set item user data and temporary value. Access data from local storage. So let user data equal to local storage dot get item user data and console.log user data, then the output will be the temporary value. So key difference: session store data server side, cookies store data client side on the user's browser for both non-logged in and logged in users. Database store permanent user data server side for logged in users. Local storage stores data client side on the user's browser for non-logged in users, only available to the JavaScript within the same origin, not sent to the server. Question number 8. They asked me aggregate function in MySQL. So aggregate group 5 function used with the group by. So function description. Okay. So count. So count function counts the number of rows. Select count star from employees. Sum function returns the total sum. Select sum salary from employees. AVG function returns the average value, that is select AVG salary from employees. Max function returns the maximum values. Select max salary from employees. Min returns the minimum values. Select min salary from employees. So these are the aggregate function. Count, sum, AVG, max, min. Question number 9. They asked me SQL versus MySQL. Okay. So SQL stands for Structured Query Language. So the purpose of SQL is a language used to interact with the database, which is used for creating tables, inserting data, updating data, and fetching data. For example, select star from employees. So the key points are: SQL is a standard language, not a software. Second, MySQL. What is MySQL? MySQL is an RDBMS, that means Relational Database Management System. So the purpose is MySQL is a database software that use SQL, which used for storing and managing data and running SQL queries. For example, MySQL server stores the employee table. So the main difference, SQL and MySQL. SQL language, MySQL database software. SQL structured query language, MySQL, my equal to name plus SQL. SQL write queries, MySQL stores and manage data. SQL, that is select insert, MySQL server, MySQL DB. These are the examples. SQL works with the many DBs. MySQL use SQL to operate. So one liner is SQL is a standard query language used to communicate with databases, whereas MySQL is a relational database management system that implements SQL to store and manage data. Question number 10, they asked me types of APIs. So based on accessibility, we have like the public API, that is open API, available to everyone, used by the external developers. For example, Google Maps API, Twitter API. Second, private API, that is internal API, used only inside an organization, not exposed publicly. For example, company payroll API used internally. Third, partner API, shared with the specific business partner, requires authentication and agreement. So example, payment gateway API shared with merchant. Fourth, composite API combines multiple APIs called into one request. For example, one request return user plus orders plus payment details. Second, based on the architecture style, we have REST API, that is the most popular. Used HTTP method get, post, put, delete. So data mostly in JSON. Example, get/employees. Second is the SOAP API. Uses XML, more strict and secure, used in the banking government systems. Third is the GraphQL API. Is a GraphQL API, that is the client request only needed data and single endpoint. For example, employee name salary. Fourth, gRPC API, high performance, uses protocol buffers used in the microservices. Third, based on communication, web API, accessible over internet using HTTPs. Second, library APIs, functions provided by programming libraries. Example, Java collection API. Third, operating system APIs, used to interact with the operating system resources. Example, Windows API, best interview summary. APIs can be public, private, partner or composite based on access architecturally. Common types of REST, SOAP, GraphQL and gRPC. Okay. So the quick table is public Google Map API, private internal HR API, partner payment gateway partner API, REST JSON plus HTTP request, SOAP XML based banking APIs, GraphQL flexible data, GraphQL flexible data query, and gRPC fast microservice API. Question number 11, UTF-8 in MySQL. So UTF-8 is a character encoding. It allows MySQL to store and display text in the multiple languages. So example languages support English, Hindi, Japanese, emojis. Why UTF-8 is needed? Without UTF-8, special character may become question mark. Hindi Unicode text may stored correctly. may not store correctly. For example, insert into employee's name and value Chandra. UTF-8 ensure it stores it properly. So important interview point. MySQL has two UTF types. Old is the UTF-8 old limit, support only up to 3 bytes and cannot store emojis and all. UTF-8 MB, that is recommended, supports full Unicode 4 bytes, can store emoji and all symbols. So most of the time we should prefer the UTF-8 MB4. So set database character char set to UTF-8. Best practice: create database, company name, company, character set UTF-8 MB4, collet UTF-8 MB4 Unicode CI. Set table char set, create table employee, ID int, name varchar 100 and character set UTF-8 MB4. Convert existing table, alter table employee, convert to the character set UTF-8 MB4, collet UTF-8 MB4 Unicode CI. UTF-8 is MySQL. In MySQL is used to store the multilingual Unicode data. MySQL UTF-8 is limited, so UTF-8 MB4 is recommended for full Unicode support including emojis. Question number 12, they asked me, what is collet collation in MySQL? So collation defines how MySQL compares and sort text string data. It controls alphabetic orders, case sensitivity and accent sensitivity. So character set versus collection. Character set, which character can be stored, that is UTF-8 etc. Collation, how characters are compared sorted. For example, table uses UTF-8 char set and character set UTF-8 MB4. So now collation decides sorting. Collet UTF-8 MB4 Unicode CI. Common collations: UTF-8 MB4 general CI, fast and less accurate sorting. UTF-8 MB4 Unicode CI, accurate recommended. UTF-8 MB4 underscore bin, case sensitive binary comparison. Why does underscore CI means? So underscore CI, case sensitive. Example, select capital A equal to small a with underscore CI collection true. So case sensitive collection example, UTF-8 MB4 underscore bin, then capital A equal to small a, and then this will throw the false. Set collation in query, select name from employee, order by name, collet UTF-8 MB4 Unicode CI. So the one liner is collation in MySQL defines the rules for comparing and sorting string data such as case sensitivity and Unicode ordering. So this was the interview at Tech4 Solutions, and the company location was New Delhi, and the interview date was the January 21st, 2026. So I will share more interview question with you. Till then, bye.